Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine. Keep subscribing, commenting, liking, and sharing. Today, I want to talk about the Kapedo killings. Dear Kenyans, since 2012, Kenya has lost several lives through bandit killings in the Kapedo region in Turkana East Sub-County. These killings are caused by bandits who parade as cattle rustlers. Despite the government efforts of peaceful disarmament operations, the situation seems not to change. Not even the police officers are spared of these killings. In 2014, more than 40 people, including 23 police officers, died in the region. In 2016, more than 4 people died in the region. Today in 2021, police officers and civilians have lost their lives in the region. 3 days ago, a chief police inspector, together with his driver, died or were killed in the line of duty following the killing of a senior general service unit officer. Fellow Kenyans, the question is, for how long is insecurity in Kapedo going to continue? How safe are our non-combatant citizens in Kapedo? Who are these people organizing, arming, and commanding bandits while killing both police officers and civilians in Kapedo region? Fellow Kenyans, I believe that the killings of police officers and civilians in Kapedo region has nothing to do with cattle rustling. Cattle rustling is just only used as a scapegoat. I believe that there is a group of warlords or entrepreneurs of the war who are benefiting from conflict, fighting, and war in the region. Let's look at it this way. The northern part of Kenya largely is a region that is facing so many challenges, be it water, be it food, and now security. The young men and women in Kapedo region, majority do not have a stable source of income. Majority cannot be able to raise their daily meals. How can they then afford to buy sophisticated guns that are being used in the killing of police officers and civilians in the region? The answer is very simple. There are entrepreneurs of war, or there are warlords in the region who buy these guns from war-torn countries like Somalia at cheaper prices, and they give these arms to the vulnerable young men and women in the region to orchestrate conflicts and fights, steal animals, and they know how they are benefiting from these fights. The cattle that are stored in the northern part of Kenya find their way to slaughterhouses, and most of these slaughterhouses are situated in Nairobi. Who is transporting these animals? Who is the beneficiary of the stolen cattle in the region, in the northern region of Kenya? Brothers and sisters, this is where we need to put our eye. Who is buying guns for our brothers and sisters in the northern part of Kenya to fight? What is his main objective and mission? And how he or she does benefit from this conflict? It is not surprising that if we dig deeper, you will realize that the young men and women who are fighting as bandits in Kapedo do not even know why they are fighting. These are young men and women who are only fighting because they have been promised a fortune. It will not be surprising to me that the banditry, the cattle rustling, and the killings in Kapedo are organized and orchestrated by powerful men and women in Nairobi. It's not surprising that powerful people who in the society are planning attacks and arming young men and women in the northern part of Kenya to cause chaos, because they know how they would benefit from this chaos. Have we ever asked ourselves that more than 50 years since independence, the northern part of Kenya has remained virtually marginalized? This is despite the fact that they partake in elections, they elect leaders, both local and national. Yet the region remains behind largely in terms of infrastructural development. Start from communication, transport, provision of water, and even access to food. Somebody doesn't want the northern part of Kenya to develop, because a developed northern part of Kenya, a peaceful northern part of Kenya, will be a business loss to somebody. And therefore, my call to the Interior Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Fred Matiang'i, I believe in your ruling. I believe in your leadership. And therefore, as you move towards operation in Kapedo, let's go for both the big fish and the small fish. We need to hold the people who are buying guns, the people who are organizing and commanding bandits, the people who are benefiting from the chaos in Kapedo. Honorable Matiang'i, maybe this time round you may not employ peaceful disarmament processes, because clearly the bandits and their commanders have sent a very simple message to the government of Kenya that not even the police officers are spared. And therefore, this is an indicator that the enemy that the government of Kenya is dealing with, as far as the killings and the cattle rustling in Kapedo is concerned, they are well organized and sophisticated one. These are not the people to be approached in a peaceful way. These are the people who must be made to surrender, whether they like it or not. And therefore, brothers and sisters, even as we talk about operation to disarm the region, a lot needs to be done beyond just collecting guns from the people. That the region needs both infrastructural development and social development. It is important to note that most criminals and bandits enjoy when they know that there is no communication or a good transport network, because then they know that it's not easy for the information to reach the people, and it's not easy to assess their hideouts. And therefore, going forward, while we are looking at the Ministry of the Interior to do something in Kapedo, the focus is also on the Ministry of Transport and all other ministries that are responsible for infrastructural development. That the Kapedo region needs to be empowered. The region needs better roads. The region needs a very powerful communication system. This will open up the region for development, for investors. And truly speaking, if this is done, then even the vulnerable youths who are used for banditry in the region will find something better to do with their lives other than fighting. If disarmament is not done in the region, and if development is not done in the region, I am afraid that we are going to produce a generation of young men and women in the region who believe in banditry as the only source of life. And this implies that the warlords are going to keep winning and winning daily. And therefore several lives are going to be lost daily. It is a call for collective responsibility that even the people from the northern part of Kenya, even the non-combatant citizens in the northern part of Kenya, that you should come out and tell the government officials the hideouts of the bandits. The bandits are not strangers. They are sons and daughters of the people in the ground. And therefore, fathers, mothers, sisters, grandmothers, and grandfathers should come out and be open to the government and tell them where the bandits are. The young men and women in northern Kenya should come out and be open on who is commanding them, because basically the warlords in the region are not making a life for these young men and women, but they are destroying it. And finally, let's not use cattle rustling as an excuse of insecurity in the region. Capitalizing on cattle rustling as a source of insecurity in the region is abusing the economic organization of the people of the northern part of Kenya. That is their only source of life. And therefore, we should go beyond this narrative of cattle rustling to exactly looking at the people who are benefiting out of this banditry. And therefore, brothers and sisters, when looking at the killings and the insecurity in Kapedo region and the northern part of Kenya largely, we should focus more on who are the warlords who are benefiting from this conflict. There we will get a solution to the current problems facing the region.